Influence here, and thank you for joining me today. I have Fans Toys Berserk FT-21, which is their version of a Masterpiece Blitzwing. After 9 years, we finally have Fans Toys Blitzwing in hand. It's kind of weird because we waited for this so long, and I'm hyped, but I'm not hyped. I'm not, it's weird. It's a weird feeling. Because I had this on pre-order about 9 years ago. I swear it's been 9 years. It might have been longer than that. I don't know. It's absolutely gorgeous. Of course, the paint, the build. There are some flimsy parts that not flimsy. I can't say flimsy, but they don't tab correctly. We'll get into all of that. His knees are a little suspect. He always looked bow-legged to me, and now I see why he has to stand in that bow-legged stance. You can see I have him in a pose. But
Transformers reviews, tech and the news, whatever else I use as a muse. Hit subscribe, I appreciate the views. Influences interest on YouTube.
Out the box, you need to do some things. I'm going to cut it in here just to show you why I'm talking. Now you're going to have to do this out the box. It's just a couple little things, but it is longer or more involved than most stuff. One thing, the transformation isn't super frustrating, but it's a lot of steps, a lot of things moving, a lot of stuff going on. But like I said, it's not super frustrating. Fanstoys been doing great with their videos, even though I don't like them because they're eating into my viewership probably, but no, but they've been doing good. I've been using their videos, but I don't like the video for this because they don't show from, I think it's both from robot mode. It's not from plane to tank to robot, robot plane to tank. So I'm going to be showing it from robot to plane to tank, and that's it. And then maybe I'll do the reverse transformation in another video if I didn't jump off the roof. All right, so let's get it started. So shout out to Nick, the toy guy. He got this to me super quick. He's always great with the shipping. When he gets it, you'll get it, and he does first come first serve. Whoever pays first gets the figure shipped first. And I paid a long time ago, so well, not a long time ago, but I paid in full like before he asked for it, so I was good. He got this to me. So check Nick out. He has a website. I'll link it in the comments and the description. Great to do business with. Always has some of the cheapest prices for American orders. Let's get into accessories. He has this nice looking sword. Very nice. I didn't realize it was translucent for some reason. I don't know if it came through on the video of it being translucent, but I really like the way it looks. And the paint, of course, is great. He has his gun. He holds both well. It is kind of hard to get his gun in because he has like a reverse trigger, and also the fingers are super tight on, I think this side. They're super tight. They're okay over here, but here's the gun, and they can go on plane mode. That folds up. We'll show more of that later. He comes with 3 visors, 3 extra visors. I believe, somebody can correct me in the comments, but I believe these are just extras. Just 3 extra visors. They look exactly the same to me. It was pull the face off. I think I am going to put a different face on because it's just his stoic face. Pull the face before I take it off so you can see up close. And there I go. And maybe that's why they give you extras, because that thing flew. So let me compare these two. Yeah, the visors all look the same, so I think maybe they're giving you extras in case you lose one. You get 3 extra faces. Try to show this. This is kind of like gritting his teeth. He has like a yelling face, and he has a little smirk. I think I'm gonna put the little smirk on. And they just have 2 pegs that go into here, and you gotta take the visor off first. That's probably why they give you extras, because it is hard to get off and it will go everywhere. So you put the face on, you can put the visor on. I like his little smirk. Gives a little personality to your figure. Card, of course. Book. You get the extra head as well with the cannon at the top of his head. Instead of having this cannon, you can hide this cannon and put it inside, and it actually comes inside as you saw in the beginning. The box, Fanstoys box, always nice box, nice stock, nice product shots, little right up there if you want to read that. And that's it. Knees, you really have to have them up like this so they're touching, because if you have them a little out, I had them a little out, I mean, it doesn't look great out anyway like this, but then it's just easier. Like if he leans a little bit, he'll fall back. Now I don't want to make it seem like the knees are like super weak. It's not gonna have any trouble standing up in certain poses. But you see how it can go back because it's a lot of weight up here, as per usual with Fans Toys figures. The other thing I don't like really is I actually kind of solved it as much as possible, but this is a little flimsy, and it's even more so once out the package. You have 2 pegs up here and 2 pegs down here that peg into the backpack. Or that's one thing I do like, lack of, even though it is a backpack, it makes it seem like no backpack back here, really just this stuff. But yeah, it pegs into, let me show it. Oh no, the bottom peg doesn't peg in anywhere, and that's probably the problem. It just pegs into the top. So if you have it pegged into the top, it's good. But you see with it pegged out, it moves a lot. It has that flimsiness when you're moving that, so you really have to have this pegged in. But even with it pegged in, there's still a little bit of give and move, and you got to move these arms in like that because they come out a tad bit, so you can get all this stuff out. But really, that's the only kind of gripes I have. Let's compare him to the only, I don't have Star Toys, unfortunately. I know everybody wants to see Star Toys next to him. I'm sure there's a million people doing that. I think I just saw Sony just posted a picture, so go check his channel out, TM Reviews. He'll have a Star Toys. He'll probably compare them all. I know Bobby will probably compare them if he has Star Toys. I can't remember if Bobby has Star Toys, but this is DX9. This was I actually sold my Star Toys, and this was my Blitzwing, and I really like this figure. I know the gripes, I know the inaccuracy. I don't know if that's a word, but I just made it up. I know all of that, but it still was one of my favorite Blitzwing figures, and it still is a favorite of mine. I always like, you know, I was the one that said real world. I kind of like real world versus cartoon. Just depends on the character. And this was one of them that I like, the real world. I like that it looks like it changes into a plane and a tank with the humongous backpack. So I'm not a stickler. Like, even though I said I like the way the streamline of this, it wouldn't bother me. Like, Star Toys has a backpack and it doesn't bother me. Fans Toys Galvatron and their Astral Train. So you can see how they all look together. I think they look great together. Man, that's where it really shines. They do some great figures. I will not lie about that. So let's go over Articulation. I think I went over most of the other stuff. So his head goes down, not too much, goes up a lot, and you get the 360 kind of. No, not really, but you get enough. It hits back here. You can move this if you wanted to and get the head like all the way to the side, but it makes no sense with the shoulders. He couldn't see anything anyway. Like I said, the paint, the head sculpt, this right here, let me get this, the translucent right here. I didn't think I would like the translucent, but this mixture, the translucent, the yellow, the red, like the chromed red, and just this red, it's a lot, but I like the color. That side by side G1 cartoon versus the toy so you can see how that looks. You got, it's a lot going on here, so I kind of forgive them. If the arm goes out 90 degrees, it's not all the way up. They had to do a lot, so I kind of forgive them for not being all the way up. Just like with this, going all the way around. Now, it's a lot of limitations in the articulation of this figure due to all the stuff that's on him and how he has to look. So you get the arm up only that much. Does have double jointed elbows, and you get them more than 90, so that's great. Bicep swivel, I think you saw that a couple times. No butterfly joint. You got fingers, all 5, well, 4 fingers in the thumb. They all have the knuckles. No, the thumb is on a ball joint with 1 knuckle at the ball joint, and then the fingers are on hinges, and they have both knuckles. 2 knuckles, I said. No, they have all 3 knuckles. Yeah. So they have all knuckles that you should have as a human. So pull that in there like that, and it spins around. So that's good. Waist, you do have to get him up a little bit to get his waist. He can use his waist. All this stuff is hitting. So I'm not sure how to, I'm not scoring it, but I'm not sure how to score it. Now with it straight, you can get it about like that, and I'm forcing it. Hopefully I'm not scratching anything in the back. Probably am. He has a ab crunch. I thought it was deeper. I don't want to break it. Yeah, it's about like that. I don't know why I was thinking that ab crunch is deeper, but he has skirts you can get out the way. Of course, the back skirts are not going to be able to function, and therefore you're going to hit the, it's going to hit the legs, so the legs won't get up. So you get 4 of the 6 skirts out the way, and he gets all the way up and back. It hits about right there. So no full hurdles. He can get the splits. Again, you got to get stuff right. But I mean, it's more than what you would use, what anybody would use, I would think. So that's fine. You got a swivel up here. I thought this swiveled. I'm about to break it, but I know it moves for transformation. Yeah, it's just a swivel at the top. Knee is double jointed, but the double joint is just so you can get almost 90. Let me double check, make sure. Oh, well, you can get a little bit more. It's 90 basically. And the feet, you have the toe tilt up and down. Heel spurs are just fixed, but you can pull them down. And he has a rocker. Oh, that's tight. Everything's in there. These things get on my nerves. I hate this look anyway. I always did hate the wings in the front. You can put them back like this, and you gotta really maneuver it, put it back, and it kind of stays like that. So you can make it look like this if you like. I like that better than this, but I just had it this way because of the review. So I can present it to you as it should be presented. And all this stuff, you can move these wings back here. You can hide them if you don't like them like that. And that's pretty much it. Everything else that moves is for transformation, not really articulation. Transformation. The deal with the fingers, get the fingers in like this. Nothing new here. Gotta turn that around sometimes. Get this out here, bring this in, close it, same over here, close it. Get these things out of here. Not out of here, but you want to get them unfolded. So you want to move them, slide them like that, and then pull these up, slide it, pull these up. It's just enough room to flip these. You want to get this off like you did in the beginning. So you unpeg it there, and then you can unpeg this right there, both sides. Unpeg it there. Then you can move this. You should be able to move this out a little in order to get this out of here, just like you did. It's like a little piece here that's I don't know if it does it peg in? I don't know if it pegs in, but it gets caught in here, which is supposed to, so it can stay. Then now you can move this thing out of here, and you have this here. It's pegged on right there. Just move that down, peg it together. Same thing over here. Like I said, there's a lot of steps, but it's, to me, it's not frustrating. It's just a lot of steps. So move this down here. You can pull this out all the way. It's pegged in right there. Then you can move this. Then you get this right here. You want to spin it there. Be careful because it's not flimsy. It doesn't really feel like it's going to break, but it's a lot of tension to just put on this part. So I try to turn it here. Like I said, it doesn't feel, you know, still Fans Toys materials. It doesn't feel flimsy at all. But you want to get this open. I had this spudger. I was like, let me try it without it. Nah, didn't work. There we go. Get this open. The head, turn the head around and flip it in. Close this back up. Secure. Then pull this up here. This little piece. Now you spin this around like that. And you have these here. Spin this one around as well. Move that so you can spin it around actually. Make sure this is down so you can, this stuff doesn't bump into it. So you can move it like this. Then you can move this down here, which creates a little space to move this out. But you gotta kind of move it around this stuff right there to get it where you need it to be. Then you can move this back up. Do the same thing here. Move that down. Move this over. And there may be a better way to do this. It's not like crazy, you know, to move it around, but I just thought that was peculiar. Push all this stuff back up here like that. Then move this up and tab that in there. Spin it back around. Make sure you put the arms down. You probably could do that sooner, but I just like to leave them out the way. Now you have this thing right here. So you want to have it like this. You move this out. Now this can get a little tricky, but again, not frustrating, just tricky. It's out here. These hinges right here, you gotta make sure, let me not getting in focus. You gotta make sure these hinges are how you need them. So once you slide that off, then you can move these hinges like this, and you gotta move this all the way through like that. That can get difficult, but not frustrating. And then there's a peg here, and it pegs on just like that. So do the other side. Maybe I showed a little better. Make sure these hinges, again, these hinges right here, I'm gonna push that up, that slider right here, and make sure this, pull this up, of course, do it right then. And what you're doing is getting this peg right here, trying to make sure it's in focus, into that space. So just however you can do that, and this should be fully up like that. Then you can get that in there like this. And there we go, just like that. Now you get the thighs. You want to move them in a tad bit. Might have to move this out. I like to move it out so I can get some leverage. It only moves a tiny bit. It's just enough. You can feel it. You can feel it. You can hear it click. You got these. You can move these up. Move these up there. Come to the back. I know I moved this down, but now you gotta move it out again. I mean, you gotta move it down in order to get all this stuff together, but you can move it out. You don't really have to tab it in, so it's easier, because then you gotta get all this stuff together. Here you see this peg. You want to get this out and up like that. Both sides you can do. Like that. Now you move this out and move this out at the same time. Make sure that's out the way. I'm only gonna do one. Then you pull that and you have it out like this. So this right here, you move in. It's a little peg right there. These you can move in. This panel, or move out, I should say. Flip those back like that. Flip this panel in. Then you can move this in like this. You can move that out the way in order to get this in, because then you move this back out. Move that out. The tail is on like a double hinge, so you can get this in like that and then hinge it in like this. And there we go, like that. You gotta push it out. I like that engineering because the toe basically fills out the thruster. You can get that better. Out all these hinges right here. You flip this hinge in and flip it like that, so it sits like that. Move this in. Flip this out. Move this. You can move it like that to flip, to get this flipped out. And when you flip this out, this will go down like this. And configuration that you want for now. Now you want to get this stuff together. Move that out here. Flip this panel. There's a panel under here. Grab it there. Flip that out. Then you can flip this around like that. And you want to flip the nose cone around like this. There we go. Put that down. Flip this out. Put this back up. One of the parts that I don't like, because it's just this onto this. I wish they would have made like something, maybe flip this over. I know it just would have been much more complicated again, but it would have saved that piece or that leg. Now this is only my second time doing it, so I don't know if it's gonna mess it up or anything. Who knows? It could. It's paint on paint. I mean, it's metal on metal, I should say. Like this. Oh, move that down. Get this together. It's a little flap right there. Should be out. And this should fit right here. If you have the legs correct. You gotta straighten it up too, or it won't work. Then this should fit right, this hole right here, fit around here. You can see all the, there's a peg here. I don't want to get out of focus. There's a peg here that pegs into the side of the arm. Here, there's pegs here. This little hole right here cut out fits into there. Do all of that on this side. Now I'm gonna do it. I'm not gonna just do that. Move that up. Move this up here and get this out. Like I said, just do all this stuff on this side. Even though I'm gonna do it kind of. Let's get that out of here. This up here like this. It gets kind of tricky just because you don't have enough room. You know how that goes. You've been in this game for any amount of time. You know what it is. So move this. And this stuff is hard. Like some of this is hard. Like this foot, I think the foot is the hardest to do. There we go. You gotta kind of like push it like that while you're moving it. There we go. And that's how it's easier to get in there. Now with this stuff, move that in. Move that in there. Move that out. Move that in. Sometimes I do get a little confused right here. Just, it's normal though. Normal stuff. Make sure this is out. Move this out. Make sure this hinge is where you need it to be. It's underneath like that for a reason, so then all this stuff can fit. Now let's get this stuff together. Move this out here. Flip this around here, and then flip this out here like this. Get this stuff out, get this down. See if I can do it. Yeah, I can do it with my hand. Not bad. Flip that back up. Make sure this flap is there like this. Then you start to see it coming together. This move up. This gets kind of tricky right here. I won't lie. I know I said it's not really frustrating, and it's not, but come on, man. Get that together. I like doing it real time. I try not to cut besides like changing stuff. So move that down there. That gets a little tricky, like I said, the problem. So let me just make sure. Stuff pegged together. This stuff right here should be pegged in like that. Check the underside, make sure it's all together. Now there's over under pegs right here. This side goes over. This right here, of course, goes over this way. Right here, there's a peg that goes in. This peg, of course, at the top goes in, and it kind of coincides with this over under pegs right here. And of course, these go here. Move these up. Now you can, I was trying to get this earlier, but you can get it better now. And just peg that into this, man, side. I don't know if I ever got it tight. That time it looks like it is, but I don't know. But I'm pegging the arm into the peg here, but I'm using both sides as leverage, so I'm not like pushing on one side. And you gotta make sure it's correct. There we go. Got it in. Back here, make sure this thing is down. You can move these down here like that. Come to thrusters and then move this up and it clamps on to here. And there's two pegs where this kind of go in. And then this clamps on to tighten it. There we go. Have landing gear right here as well. I like to pull that out because then it lets it rest better. Move it up like this and then move this down. And this part right here will tab onto there and sits like that. Same thing here. Move that around, move this down, tab that on to here. And then this goes up and tabs on to here, right there. Move this in a little to get it out the way. And then you can move this up. There's a tab here, tabs in, tabs, tabs. Tab that, tab that. Tab that. I just skirted off the back here. Same thing over here. Move this in. It's on a slider. Don't forget. Slide that in order to move this up a little better. Move that in there. Tab that in there. Tab. Is there a tab? Yeah, the tab here goes. I didn't realize that. I don't have that in all the way over here. Sometimes when you're figuring out this stuff by yourself, you miss stuff. I ain't gonna lie. I think all reviewers do it. Then you can move these right here and tab them at the top, and it kind of keeps that. That's solid. You know, I ain't the greatest transformer reviewer, but I try to do as best as I can. Then you move this in here and it tabs back in there to give it that classic look. This right here, I'm not completely sure I have it correct because it doesn't, it's not staying how I want it to stay. I don't know if it just got loose on me or what, but it is flopping. Like I said, that could be me. I thought it went like that. Looking at the model. Great looking details. Definitely. I think it's very nice looking. It's not frustrating. There's a couple parts, but it's not as bad as when I looked at Fans Toys video, because that was crazy. And now you can bring in this, and right here you can peg this in under here. I'm trying to peg it sideways. It's pretty streamlined. Do like that, peg that in there. Then on the other side you can peg it here. And now you have that look, if that's something you like. Masterpiece side swipe, so you can see how big it is. Pretty hefty, pretty big. Tank mode. Pull this out, flip this up here, pull this little piece out, leave it like that. Same thing on this side. Piece out, flip this out, leave it like that. Move this, get this unpegged here. Man, I pegged that in tight. Whew. Might as well get this one off too, because you got to. There we go. That one was a little easier. Move this down here. Unpeg this. Like that. Unpeg this. Same thing. For the sake of time, let's use the spudger. Flip these out. Flip these back in. Or I should say pull them out that way. Flip them back in. Slide them back in there. There we go. Again over here. Move this out. Flip that in. Just enough room, barely, to get it in. And you move that. Move these up. Flip these up. Get this like that so you can move the thrusters up. Take the arms out of here so you can move this how you need it. Get it unpegged. There we go. Spudger or something comes in handy. I mean, how long we been doing this? Move this out the way. Move this. Like this gets messy. Move this out the way so you can move that. Actually move it up and flip this flat. Like that. And move that out. Now we gotta get this apart too, because you're moving all this stuff back in. Easy with a spudger. Flip the nose cone back in. Again, flip the nose cone back in on this side. You can move this around. Flip the landing gear back in. Move it around there. Move this back around here. Them together. Bunch of tabs everywhere. Tabs, pegs, tabs. This arm out of here. Move this little panel right here. It's on like a double hinge. I just saw some paint come off. Not really that worried if it's on this panel. You move this all the way down. Get on the other side. Same thing. Move that out. Move this arm out. Get more room. And then it's on this little thing right here. Moves around. Just move the arms back in. Oh, not yet. I'm getting ahead of myself. And now you want to do, now you want to go back like you were. Like that. Same thing over here. Move it like kind of caddy it like this. And then you can move this down, but you don't have to move all of these all the way down. You can move this up. And it gets it around all of this. That's probably the easiest way. It's probably the easiest way to go to jet mode too. Now all this stuff, again, it's not frustrating. It's just, it's a lot of stuff in the way. It's a lot of stuff going on. So just gotta be mindful and take account of all of it. As I'm not doing right now. There we go. Kind of. There we go. Get that over under. This right here. Pegs in there. This keeps coming out for some reason. Don't like it. Don't like it. It's probably because of this. And once all of it gets together, it's pretty solid. But it's just getting all of it together. There we go. Move this. These back down just like you did before. Get them pegged in. This pegged in. Up. And now in this peg, instead of the bottom or the top peg, you can see that instead of the top peg, it's the bottom peg that's going to peg into the side. Because it needs to go up more. There you go, like that. And then you can peg this into the side. Cool runnings. Y'all remember that? My boy used to say cool runnings. Now people say cool beans. He used to say cool runnings. Put this back together. Now you want to take these things. Split this. Split that. Then move these down. And as you're moving it down, you can split these. These are going in here. Like that. Get on this side. Move that. Move this up. And put it in there. Like, yeah, this side, I don't know. They be giving me some issues sometimes. And I just pushed the arms down, unfortunately. Like, I have no idea why. There we go. Why this is giving me such issues and nothing else. So make sure that arm, if you push that arm down, make sure it's all the way up where it should be. On that slider, there's a slider in there. So turn it to the front. By now these things might have fell down. So if they have fell down, you can just move these up so you can get some room. And my one over here did. You want to take this because there's two pegs in the side, two peg holes in the side right there, one right there and one on the other side. And you move that up like that, and then you peg this into there. Same here, peg that into this side. Forming the tank, maybe, if it goes in all the way. Yeah, there we go. These, make sure, I don't know what happened. That's probably why it wasn't going in. This wasn't right. That's exactly what was happening. This had got out of whack, so this wasn't collapsing right. And that's exactly what happened over here too. So just make sure it does move around. But right here, pull this out like that. You can have that, push this back down, then these go down here, and there's a peg right here that pegs on right here. Peg that on there. Same thing for this one. Move it out, pull it out on that slider, move that down. And you want this right again. There we go. Like that. And move this in. That is wrong. Supposed to be up. Up and out. It's like an L. There we go. Like that. And then this goes in there. Tabs on right there. Push this. In like that. Over top of this here is a peg. Man, these are giving me some issues. It look like this. This one, no, that one's fine. Then you move this up here, peg that in there. Move this up here, peg that in there. If you have it right, you peg it in there. So now we're here with all of this, and you want to pull this down here, get it out of there, put that flap up, pull this down, and spin this around like that. Move this stuff out the tread and flip this back in. Then move this tread down, and there's a tab that it tabs in on, a piece in here that you move out like that, and then move this down and you tab it on here. Fills out the rest of the tread. Put that up and then flip this in, and there is tab here, tabs there. Make sure this is out and goes. That's why it went tab. Then that goes right there. Flap down. You can get all the tabs in a little better than they are. Same thing on this side. Pull this up. Flip this up. You can move this down like that to get it out the way. Then move this. Watch this little piece. Like that. Then flip this around, that little piece there, because it's going to flip down and peg in right there. Flip that back, peg that in to fill out the tread. Make sure this piece is flipped up. Move this in. Then there's the thing here that pegs into the side. You kind of want that on top of here. Peg that. Make sure everything's lined up and peg it together. Push that down, kind of line it up there. Flip this over. Now to tear it. Move that out. Move this out of here. Flap out. Like flip that out like that. Then you can flip the cannon out of here. Pull it out. Then I already flipped that around and got that together. Flip this out. Flip this out. Move this up to give it that circle feel. Flip these in. The thrusters. I like that as well. That they have that in jet mode, just as like extra thrusters, and then tank mode. Of course, there's no thrusters on a tank turret. Original spot where this is at, you want to move this up here, and then there's a peg right here that pegs in there, so it puts it more in the middle. Then you can move this down, and it covers up the legs. And move these flaps, these up. You can move these up more for less protruding. But it's cool. I definitely think the tank isn't as successful. Well, what's successful? Does it look the part? Yes. But there's a lot of stuff. Of course, I never liked this, even though it is the part. It doesn't sit the turret unless I have it wrong. And that's a possibility, but I don't think so. It doesn't sit right. Sits a little better than I just fixed it a little bit. It does spin around. Barrel goes up and down. This can open, both of these. Let me show it next to side swipe. So this right here where you open this, and you can flap this all the way back. You can put the gun in. And the sword goes into the side of the gun if you want to have both on. I think the gun looks good without the sword being on, because to me a extra gun on the tank that's tight. Extra gun on the tank is acceptable to me. If I had any gripes, this barrel, again, this right here, it's a big space. I guess it's accurate, and it doesn't look bad. It does look like the space that's needed for the treads. Just not used to it. Not real treads, of course. Well, I say of course, some of figures do have real treads. Here we are with this. It definitely looks the part getting to the modes. I think the plane is the better mode. The tank has a lot of stuff going on that like doesn't tab in well. Now I'm sure you can mess with it, fool with it for hours, or not even hours. I mean like 10-20 minutes and get it exactly where you need it to be, where you want it to be. Yeah, this ain't a quick flip figure. So of course though, Fanstoys, and this turret goes down. It's pretty loose. Goes down with no issues at all, like with no force. Like I said, they definitely did a lot to get it to both modes. I know it's a lot to do anyway. It's a hard figure to do, and I think they made it look great. Paint's great. Transformation isn't as frustrating as I thought it was going to be. It is as long as I thought it was going to be, but it's just a lot of steps. There's a few places where you gotta almost bend plastic around each other. It's almost like X-Transbots transformations in a few places. And Fanstoys is no stranger to those types of things. In the past, they've had figures like that as well. So I don't want to pick on X-Transbots. Of course, you know what you're getting with Fanstoys. You're getting Sculpt. Sculpt is great in all 3 modes, even though this mode is my least favorite. Of course, you're getting paint. You're getting build quality. Even though I did have to bend plastic around plastic and stuff and do things that I don't like to do with figures, it never feels like it's gonna break. Now, is it worth the wait? The wait, I don't think anything's worth the wait. Just like with Minosaur, what I said, and Minosaur is way Minosaur was way sooner than this. I said in the beginning, I believe it's 9 years. I don't know exactly. I'm just thinking because I pre-ordered it. I remember around the time when I was just not just getting into collecting, but it was maybe a year in, maybe a couple years in. So that's why I say 9 years, because I've been collecting for like 11, 12 years now. If you enjoyed this review, please, I appreciate you liking, subscribing, and sharing it. Share it. You know, it helps the channel out a lot, and I appreciate when people do. All right, so I'll see you in the next one. I'm not sure if I'm going back to robot, maybe from this mode back to robot, but we'll see. All right, again, thank you for joining me, and I'll get over to the next one.
You know, life ain't over, life ain't over, life ain't over. As long as you alive, you can give another try and take it real high if you want.